We've all been in that situation before where we've had a conversation with somebody and it just doesn't seem to add up. It turns more into, well, it turns less of a conversation and more of a list of excuses. It kind of goes a little something like, actually, you know what, let's just have that conversation right now. Hey, did you get that thing done that you were supposed to get done? Did you meet the deadline? Well, so what happened was I did, but then I sent it to the other person, and then they were on vacation, and then they contacted me back, and then they said that it was wrong and that they needed more. So you didn't get it done? Well, but it wasn't my fault. Today, let's talk about honesty. Honesty always wins. Honesty, it always wins. And here's the facts. Honesty is not something that you can plaster on a billboard and say, we're an honest company, because the facts are that most of the companies that would say that and publicize that are probably the least when it comes to honesty. I wrote this down just so that I could remember it, but I believe that honesty is one of the virtues that can only be experienced through consistent and practical application. In other words, honest is not something that you tell people that you are, it's something that you show through your actions. And it's one of the things that I've really been, I guess, focused on or thinking about here recently, because my hope, my goal for this organization is that we have a reputation of being honest. When we make mistakes, we own them. And I can give you a lot of examples. Actually, here is an example. This is a picture that hangs in our hall every single day. And it's something that I walk past multiple times a day, and it stares me in the face. But it's a reminder of that time, one of those pivotal moments in your career, in your life, in your personal life, where you have to make a decision of passing the buck, coming up with excuses, or being honest. See, this was a project, one of the first projects that I was involved with from a parts ordering standpoint, from a very loose project management standpoint, where I was the one that had to quote it and I had to order the parts and make sure everything was where it was supposed to be, when it was supposed to be. Fact is, I failed. I screwed up on this project. And it was a bad time in our organization. But I had to make a decision. Was I going to own that process? Was I going to own that mistake, or was I going to pass the buck? Because it's very easy, especially in the contractor world, to say, well, I ordered it and it got messed up, and it's the manufacturer's fault, or it's somebody else's fault, or it's a subcontractor. But here is the fact. When I made that mistake, when I delayed on the order, when I messed the order up, I had to own that problem. And so I had to sit in front of that customer and explain the delay in the project was because of my own mistake. And I learned something very real in that moment, because it was a pivotal time in my career that said, you know what? It wasn't that bad. It's something that is an individual in a business or any type of a team atmosphere or organization. Honesty is a key factor. Those decisions, those pivotal moments, when you make that decision, am I going to be honest, or am I going to bleed the truth a little bit? Am I going to hide it, or am I going to deflect or push it off on somebody else? Those decisions will make or break your future and your progression in your career. It's a very easy thing to fall into when you work in any type of an industry with a supply chain. And any type of, really, I think any industry that you work in has some level of supply chain where you're falling at some point, you're relying upon other people to provide services or products to get you to the end result to provide for your customer. It's pass the buck, blame somebody else, or own the mistake. Because sometimes those mistakes will happen for your suppliers and your vendors. But if you're always blaming them for it, then one, you're going to burn relationships with them, and two, you're going to lose a little bit of credibility that it's always somebody else's fault. The last thing that I've been thinking of when it comes to honesty, here's the fact. Being honest is often misconstrued as, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really like your face. That's just being rude. Honesty is a decision of being truthful when presented with an opportunity to not. From a leadership perspective that I hope that we're doing here, and it's something that I would challenge you to strive to do. Create an environment where honesty is expected and there's not a fear of retribution for honest action. It's something to think about because I believe honesty always wins.